Well, hello everybody, John Grimsmo here, bringing you a Tuesday Grimsmo Grind. So, I don't know about you guys, but I personally believe that I can do anything I set my mind to, that I'm passionate about, that I enjoy doing, that I want to do. But I have to remind myself that I can't do everything. And this saying's been around for a long time. I've certainly heard it before. But it's very true to me because I get distracted very easily. I love the challenge. I love the grind. I love figuring it out. That's one of the keys that makes me tick. You know, I love the challenge of not knowing how to do it and then figuring out how to do it. And that's one of the things that I love to do. So focus has been a big problem for me. Because I want to do everything. You know, I could be deep into a project and I'm like, squirrel, and go on another project without finishing the first one. Like, one of my big problems is I can happily get to 90% done on a project and then drop it and move to the next one because the next challenge is more enticing. Because this challenge has been figured out. I have conquered it. I've solved the problem. I haven't necessarily finished the job, but I have solved the problem. And then the next challenge is more interesting to me. So that's something I really got to watch out for because it sets me back a lot. I have so many 90% finished projects and knives that I get distracted from and I have to move to the next one. So choosing my battles is something I'm very much working to improve. And the distraction, man. And it's so easy for me to justify it in my head that, well, doing this side project is important because it gets me closer to my goal and it will allow me to do this. Like, on the lathe, I've been working on a parts catcher because I make tiny little parts. Hopefully I'll get that video out soon. I've been filming a lot of it. It's done. I make tiny little parts and they're smaller than the chips themselves. So weeding them out of the chips is very time consuming. And a parts catcher that catches everything before it hits the big pile of chips in the bottom will be very handy for me. And it's that rule of pi that I was talking about before. It's like, I think it'll only be a couple-hour job, and it turns out to be 3 times more than that. I guess I'm happy that I did it. I haven't really enjoyed it yet, so it's done. I haven't used it yet. I finished it yesterday. But that's one of those side projects that's like, well, I could do this, which is somewhat productive and somewhat, it could get me closer to my goal, but it doesn't directly get me closer to my goal. It's one of those bigger picture things that it is a good thing. Was it the best use of my time? I'm not sure yet. Is the 6 hours invested here, or whatever it was, actually going to be saved time in the end? Am I going to save 6 hours of sifting through chips? Well, there was certainly more interesting time spent than 6 hours of sifting through chips, and maybe that's part of the problem, is that I don't like to waste time doing boring stuff like that. I would rather challenge myself and spend that time towards a challenging solution that fixes the problem. Maybe that's part of it. Because I love doing little side projects, but I have to like reel myself back and be like, no, you gotta work. Stop screwing around. Other side projects, I mean, as you guys probably know, I used to be a car guy. I spent probably 10 years, the majority of my 20s, late teens and early 20s, doing car stuff, working on cars, researching cars. I have installed like 4 or 5 engines. I've rebuilt from scratch like 3 engines. I've converted automatic cars to manual cars. I've installed turbochargers on cars that were not turbocharged. I've done custom programmable engine management. I've done a lot of stuff. I'm not interested in it anymore, but it's all in here. So when my current car, it's a 1995, when it needs work, my internal brain is very challenged, like battled. What do? I know how to solve that problem. I know where to look to research it. I know where to buy the parts for the best price, good parts. But is it worth my time, my hours, to do the work myself, which I don't really enjoy doing anymore? Or should I spend the money instead of time and have a shop do it, which is more of what I'm trying to do, but it's still a big battle in my head. Like, I can do that. Why shouldn't I do that? I can save money and fix, I've got my winter tires on now. I got to put my summer tires on because it's gorgeous outside. I can do that. It's easy. In the winter, when I put my winter tires on, it took me a minimum an hour. Pull the car into the garage. Like, I timed it. It was over an hour. Pull the car into the garage, jack it up, move everything out of the garage, or out of the shop, that was in my way. Put the tires on and dick around with some other stuff, and it was minimum an hour. That's an hour I don't have doing productive work. That's an hour our business is not making money, and I'm not being productive. Whereas I could spend a shop time of an hour at the auto shop, and I am getting work done. So instead of being a double loss, I'm losing my time and not making money. I'm spending money and making money, so it's a net gain, or a net whatever. I'm not an accountant. My point is, I just got to be really careful what I choose to do, because I feel like I can do anything, because I'm super passionate about whatever I take on. I'm not going to take on an accounting job because I don't like it, but there are other things, like watchmaking is fascinating. Tiny little parts. I love tiny parts. I have to tell myself, no, stay away from watches. You're not allowed to buy a watch, you're not allowed to look at it, you're not allowed to think about it, because they will be a giant black hole that will distract you from the wonderful business you've currently created and need to maintain. And I love the business that I'm in. I don't want to change, but the challenge is very alluring. That distraction, man, it's tempting. And there's other products that I want to make, whether it be flashlights or pens or little easy things like pry bars and carabiners, which I'm not super passionate about, but it would be an easy thing to make. But that's what everybody's making. Why do we have to do that? I don't know. I think we just need to focus on knives, on exactly what we're working on, and try not to get too distracted by cars, watches, upgrades, side projects, things of that nature that don't actually add up to the bottom line. Because in the end, this is a business. We're trying to make money. We're trying to grow to the point of profitability. And we're like so close. And every distraction puts us farther away, and then we inch closer, and then farther away, and then we inch closer. It's like I'm prolonging. I mean, it's that thing where I love to do things to 90%, and then, look, there's a squirrel, and then I run away. I've been doing that for years, and it drives my wife crazy. That's probably what failed some of my first businesses, was that I never finished it properly because I would see that squirrel and I'd run. And now, in a way, we're doing that. Like with the Rask knife, it's done. There's little tweaks I'm still doing to it, and we're producing. We're getting it out the door. All you Rask customers, they are coming, but I'm just venting here. I'm telling you the truth. Like, I don't like doing production because it's that last 10%. I love the R&D. I love the figuring it out, the challenge. So in a perfect world, I probably need to hire some people, which we're thinking about, to do that production for us, to our standards within our facility, teach them our methods, because that's not my strong suit. Eric likes production. He likes the steady work. I don't. I like the challenge. And that's why, I love to grow the business. I love to plan it and figure it out and figure out what's next and interact with the customers and do these YouTube videos. That's my passion. That's what I like to do. So I need to figure out a way to do more of that. And I've got big plans for that. I mean, I kind of have it figured out, but just implementing it is the challenge. Ooh, challenge. I love challenges. So that's about what I wanted to talk about today. In order to be the most effective, I just have to choose very wisely where I spend my time, because time is precious. You don't get it back. It's the one non-renewable resource. You can spend money and make money later. If you spend time and waste time, you don't get it back. So, yeah, those are kind of things that I'm really, really conscious of right now. And trying to be very smart with. But man, do I love the challenge. Like, there are number one priorities on my list that get trumped by fun challenges, and that's wrong. But that's who I am. So who am I to stop what I love to do? I don't know. It's interesting. It's hard to articulate into words sometimes, but anyway, I'm not going to drivel on for too much longer. But boy, it is a It's probably the warmest morning yet so far. 24 degrees Celsius at 9:30 in the morning. I had some other errands to do this morning, so coming into the shop a little late today. Yesterday and the Friday before, I was in at 5:30 a.m. Yeah. So anyway, I'm dragging on. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Loving the comments. I'm finding some very, very interesting people in these comments. People that don't normally comment are opening up and sharing in the comments. I love it. It's fantastic. I do have some machining videos coming out, hopefully, if I can slap them together. So see you guys tomorrow, and take care. Bye.